In the sterile expanse of the galactic frontier, the human settlement on the planet Eridani V was a flicker of life amidst the cosmic darkness. The year was 2397, and humanity had stretched its reach far beyond the solar cradle of Earth, touching stars and planets that were once mere points of light in the night sky. Eridani IV was not a hospitable place. Its atmosphere, while breathable, carried a constant chill that seeped into bones and machinery alike. The landscape was a tapestry of gray rock and sparse vegetation, a testament to life's tenacity. Yet for all its harshness, the planet held a strategic position along a trade route that made it invaluable to human interests. The story of Eridani V began when the United Earth government decided to establish a research and mining facility there. The potential for discovering new energy resources was too significant to ignore, and so the Clarion Base was founded. It was a sprawling complex of metal and concrete, its domes and towers standing defiant against the alien elements. Among those who called Clarion Base home was Dr. Lena Hartfield, a leading pain researcher from the University of New Chicago. She was a slight woman, with sharp features and an even sharper intellect. Her life's work had been devoted to understanding human pain, its mechanisms, its effects, and how to alleviate it. On Earth, her research had reached a plateau. The frontier offered new challenges and possibilities. Dr. Hartfield's interest in Eridani V was twofold. Firstly, the miners frequently reported unusual cases of pain tolerance and recovery times from injuries that defied existing medical knowledge. Secondly, the indigenous plant life exhibited properties that, preliminary studies suggested, could revolutionize pain management. The day Dr. Hartfield's life changed began like any other, with the pale sun of Eridani V rising over the jagged horizon. She was in her lab, examining samples of the local flora, when the alarm sounded. A shrill, piercing sound that cut through the base like a knife. "Containment breach in Sector 7, the automated voice announced. Sector 7 housed the mining operations where deep within the planet, drills and explosives tore into Eridani V's crust in search of precious minerals. Without a second thought, Dr. Hartfield grabbed her medical kit. The miners might need her. Pain, after all, was her domain. As she raced through the metallic corridors of the base, the lights flickered ominously, casting long shadows that seemed to flicker with secrets. When she arrived at Sector 7, the scene was chaotic. A cave-in had occurred, trapping several miners. Emergency crews were already at work, trying to stabilize the tunnel and reach the trapped men and women. "Over here, Dr. Hartfield," one of the medics called out. They were huddled around a figure lying still on a makeshift stretcher. The miner's name was Jonas Halk, known among the crew for his resilience and strength. Now, he lay pale and still, his leg caught under a fallen beam. As she approached, Lena noticed something extraordinary. Despite the severity of his injuries, Jonas was conscious and eerily calm. "Jonas, I'm going to administer something for the pain," Lena said, preparing a syringe. "No need, Doc," Jonas replied, his voice steady. "I can't feel a thing." His words struck Lena with a mixture of awe and horror. Here was a man, severely injured yet claiming to be devoid of pain. This was beyond unusual. It was unheard of in medical literature. As Lena treated Jonas and the other injured miners, her mind raced. This incident was a stark reminder of why she was here. The frontier was not just a place of harsh conditions and resources. It was a mystery, a puzzle that challenged the very understanding of human biology and pain. That night, back in her lab, Lena couldn't shake off the day's events. She knew that something extraordinary was happening on Eridani V, and she was at the epicenter. The potential for discovery and the potential for disaster loomed large. As she set her tools aside and peered out her lab window at the alien landscape, Lena felt a mix of trepidation and excitement. The unlimited human tolerance for pain, a phenomenon barely touched upon in medical texts, was here on Eridani V, waiting to be understood, and she was just beginning to uncover its secrets. Dr. Lena Hartfield spent the following weeks diving deeper into the enigma of the miner's pain tolerance. Her days were a blur of clinical observations, biological sampling, and theoretical synthesis, punctuated by brief, restless sleeps. She became a fixture in both the infirmary and the mining sectors, her presence a constant as she gathered data and conducted interviews with the workers. One day, as she sat reviewing the latest batch of lab results, Lena made a startling discovery. The blood samples from the miners showed elevated levels of a previously unidentified protein, which she temporarily named Aridinin A. This protein appeared to interact with the body's pain receptors, inhibiting the usual pain signals sent to the brain. Lena hypothesized that this protein might be a response to an environmental factor unique to Eridani 5, possibly related to the indigenous flora or even the planet's unique geological characteristics. Excited by this lead, Lena decided to test the effects of Aridinin A in a controlled environment. She isolated the protein and began a series of trials with lab mice. The initial results were promising. The mice exhibited significantly higher pain thresholds when administered with the protein. However, the implications of her findings weighed heavily on her. If Aridinin A could be synthesized and safely introduced into human biology, it could revolutionize pain management for chronic sufferers on Earth. But the potential for abuse was also high. Imagine a soldier, a worker, or even an athlete who could suppress pain indefinitely. The ethical dimensions of such a discovery were daunting. Meanwhile, life on Eridani 5 grew increasingly difficult. The mining company pushed for more aggressive extraction efforts, driving the miners harder. Accidents became more frequent, and Lena observed a disturbing trend. Those with the highest levels of Aridinin A seemed to disregard personal safety, engaging in riskier behaviors as their perception of pain dulled. Concerned, Lena approached the base commander, Colonel Marcus Webb, a pragmatic man who had seen many frontier worlds in his career. She explained her findings and expressed her concerns about the long-term effects of Aridinin A on human behavior. Colonel Webb listened intently, his face unreadable. "Doctor, your work could be of great strategic importance," he finally said. "But we also need to maintain our operations here. I'll authorize you to continue your research, but keep it under wraps for now. We can't afford a panic or a shutdown." Frustrated yet determined, Lena agreed to the terms. She knew that her research could not be stopped now, not when she was so close to a breakthrough. But she also understood the need for caution, for the balance between scientific advancement and its implications on human life. As she returned to her lab, Lena was approached by an unexpected visitor, Milo Sanders, a journalist from the Interstellar Network News, who had been covering the frontier developments. He had heard rumors of unusual happenings at Clarion Base and was sniffing around for a story. "Dr. Hartfield, I believe there's something big going on here. Something more than just mining," Milo said, his eyes keen and probing. "People back home should know if there's a discovery that could change lives." Lena hesitated. The last thing she needed was media attention, yet she also felt the weight of her moral responsibilities. After a moment of internal conflict, she made a decision. "Follow me," she said, leading Milo to her lab. She showed him her research, explained the potential benefits and risks, and her plan to further investigate the properties and impacts of Aridinin A. Milo listened, fascinated. "This is incredible, Doctor. It's the kind of story that could indeed change lives, but it needs to be handled with care," Milo agreed. They struck an understanding. Milo would prepare his report but hold off on broadcasting it until Lena was ready. As Lena watched Milo leave, she felt a mix of relief and anxiety. Her discovery was no longer hers alone to control. The wheels were in motion, and the future was uncertain. But one thing was clear. The secrets of Aridinin Phi were only just beginning to unfold, and their revelation would test the unlimited human tolerance for pain in ways she could hardly imagine. As the weeks progressed, Dr. Lena Hartfield found herself at the heart of an ethical quagmire that threatened to overshadow the scientific potential of her discovery. The isolation and characterization of Aridinin A had unlocked a door to new medical possibilities, but with each step forward, the moral complexities seemed to multiply. Colonel Webb had kept his promise. Lena's research was allowed to continue, but under strict confidentiality. The base was now buzzing with guarded whispers and a sense of looming change. Lena, however, felt increasingly isolated, her dual role as a caregiver and a researcher becoming ever more conflicted. One afternoon, she convened a meeting with her research team, a small group of dedicated scientists and medical professionals who had been working closely with her on the Eridanon A project. The atmosphere in the room was tense, charged with the gravity of their work. "We're at a pivotal point," Lena began, her voice steady despite the turmoil she felt inside. "We have the potential to alleviate human suffering on a scale previously unimaginable. However, we must also consider the implications of our actions. How do we ensure that this discovery is used ethically?" Dr. Emilio Reyes, a bioethicist on the team, nodded gravely. "We need to establish strict guidelines for clinical application and control distribution closely. The risk of misuse is too high without a robust framework." The team discussed potential safeguards, including partnership with ethical pharmaceutical companies and government bodies to regulate the distribution and use of Eridanon A. The mood was one of cautious optimism until Dr. Tara Lindholm, the team's pharmacologist, raised a significant concern. "What about dependence and withdrawal? Have we considered the possibility that prolonged use could lead to physiological or psychological dependence on Eridanon A?" she asked. Lena paused, considering. "We've started long-term studies with the mice, and preliminary observations suggest there might be withdrawal symptoms. This is something we need to investigate thoroughly." The discussion then turned to the immediate future. They needed more data, and for that, they required controlled human trials. The idea was fraught with ethical and legal challenges, but it was a necessary step in their research. As they debated the protocols for such trials, Lena's communication device buzzed. It was a message from Milo Sanders. He had been approached by a whistleblower from a rival mining corporation, claiming that they had gotten wind of the Eridanon A research and were attempting to replicate it. The news was alarming, but not entirely unexpected. Lena had known that keeping such a significant discovery under wraps would be nearly impossible on the frontier, where corporate espionage was as much a part of life as the mining itself. She shared the news with the group. "This changes things," she stated. "We have to assume our research will become public sooner rather than later. We need to control the narrative and ensure the ethical use of Eridanon A before someone else takes the lead." The meeting ended with more questions than answers, but with a renewed sense of urgency. Lena spent the rest of the day drafting a proposal for human trials, her mind racing with the potential consequences of her actions. That night, as Eridani F's twin moons cast a pale light over the alien landscape, Lena sat alone in her office, pondering the philosophical implications of her work. Pain, she had always believed, was an integral part of the human experience, a guide that protected and informed. Could removing this guide change the very nature of humanity? Her thoughts were interrupted by an urgent call from the infirmary. A mining accident had resulted in numerous casualties. Pain management was critical, and her expertise was needed immediately. As she rushed to assist, Lena realized that each step she took in her research was a delicate dance between alleviating suffering and potentially altering the essence of human experience. The weight of that responsibility was immense, but so too was the possibility of doing good. The path ahead was fraught with ethical pitfalls, but Lena was determined to navigate it with as much care and integrity as she could muster. The next few months on Eridani 5 were a whirlwind of activity. Following the mining accident, the need for effective pain management became more urgent than ever, underscoring the potential benefits of Eridanon A. With the approval of an ethical oversight committee hastily assembled by the United Earth Government's Frontier Division, Dr. Lena Hartfield initiated the first human trials of Eridanon A, a decision that brought both hope and a host of new challenges. Lena's trials were meticulously designed. She recruited volunteers from among the miners and base personnel, those who understood the risks and were willing to participate in something that could change the face of medicine. Each participant was thoroughly briefed on the potential risks and benefits, and Lena personally ensured that their consent was informed and voluntary. As the trials commenced, the effects of Eridanon A on human subjects began to emerge, confirming some of Lena's hypotheses while presenting unexpected results. Most participants experienced significant reductions in pain sensitivity, which vastly improved their quality of life, especially for those with chronic pain conditions. However, a small subset exhibited signs of aredenine A dependency, as Dr. Tara Lindholm had feared, challenging the team to modify dosages and administration protocols continually. Amid these scientific endeavors, the base was abuzz with rumors and speculation. The presence of Milo Sanders, who had been documenting the trials for a potential exposé, added an element of public scrutiny that Lena found both invasive and necessary. It provided a level of transparency that she hoped would safeguard the ethical dimensions of her work. However, the external pressures soon escalated. News of the trials leaked beyond Milo's controlled reporting, attracting the attention of rival corporations and interstellar regulatory bodies. One particular corporation, Helix Corp, alleged that their proprietary technologies had been stolen and incorporated into Lena's research, a claim that threatened to drown the project in legal battles. Colonel Webb, ever the pragmatist, became a shield against these corporate onslaughts, dealing with legal and political skirmishes that Lena had little stomach for. His efforts allowed her to focus on the science, though the strain of constant threats loomed large over the team. One evening, as Lena reviewed data from the latest trial phase, she received an encrypted communication from an unknown source. The message was brief. "Your research has implications far beyond what you've envisioned. Let's meet." Intrigued and cautious, Lena agreed to the meeting, arranging it in a secure location within the base. The messenger was Dr. Annika Patel, a geneticist whose work Lena had followed but never met in person. Dr. Patel revealed that she had been conducting parallel research on genetic adaptations in frontier populations, discovering that some humans were naturally evolving to exhibit traits similar to those induced by aredenine A. "This isn't just about pain management, Lena," Annika explained. "It's about human evolution. Your work with aredenine A is accelerating a process that might have taken millennia. We need to consider the long-term implications of hastening such changes." Her words struck a chord with Lena, aligning with her own concerns about the broader impacts of her work. Together, they discussed the possibility of collaborating, combining their research to fully understand the ramifications of what they were unleashing. As Lena walked back to her lab, her mind was alive with possibilities and dangers. She knew the path ahead would be even more complicated than she had anticipated. Every breakthrough brought new ethical dilemmas, each step forward a potential slip into unknown territory. Her resolve, however, remained firm. Whatever the future held, she was committed to ensuring that her work on aredenine A would benefit humanity, not lead it astray. The trials would continue, but with a new level of caution and a broader perspective, guided not just by the potential to eliminate pain, but also by the wisdom to foresee and manage the consequences of such profound change. Dr. Lena Hartfield's collaboration with Dr. Annika Patel marked a significant shift in the scope and direction of the aredenine A trials. Their combined expertise brought new insights into the genetic factors influencing human adaptation to harsh environments like aredenine F, adding a layer of depth to the ongoing research. But as their understanding deepened, so did the complexities of the ethical landscape they navigated. The collaboration, however, was not without its challenges. The integration of genetic research into the ongoing clinical trials required re-evaluation of the protocols and additional approvals, slowing the pace of progress. Meanwhile, the pressure from external entities intensified, with Helix Corp stepping up its legal challenges and propaganda against Lena's work, alleging ethical violations and misuse of proprietary technology. Amidst these external pressures, Lena received unexpected support from the miners and other inhabitants of the base. Having experienced firsthand the benefits of aredenine A, many rallied to her defense, providing testimonials of their improved quality of life and participating in peaceful demonstrations supporting the continuation of the research. One such supporter, Jonas Hulk, the miner Lena had first treated who exhibited an extraordinary tolerance to pain, became an unofficial spokesperson for the trials. His powerful story and sincere advocacy lent a human face to the project, countering some of the negative press stirred up by corporate interests. However, the relative peace and progress were shattered one evening when Lena received a distressing message from Milo Sanders. He had been investigating Helix Corp's claims independently and had stumbled upon a network of corporate espionage that implicated not only Helix Corp, but potentially members of the base staff in sabotage attempts against the trials. "Lena, we need to meet. I've uncovered something you need to see." Milo's message was terse, his tone more urgent than usual. They met in a secluded part of the base, where Milo shared his findings. He presented evidence of data theft and tampering, orchestrated by a mole within their own team. The revelations were shocking, threatening not only the integrity of the research, but also the safety of all involved. "The implications are severe," Milo said grimly. "This isn't just about corporate competition or intellectual property. It's about controlling a technology that could redefine human capability and resilience. We're in deeper waters than we thought." The betrayal hit Lena hard, shaking her trust in her team. Yet it also steeled her resolve to protect her work and ensure its ethical application. She and Milo devised a plan to expose the mole and secure the research data. With Milo's evidence and Annika's assistance, Lena confronted the suspected mole, a junior researcher named Dr. Eric Voss. Caught off guard and faced with irrefutable evidence, Voss confessed, revealing that he had been coerced by threats to his family's safety back on Earth. His confession opened up a broader investigation, leading to a crackdown on Helix Corp's espionage network across several frontier bases. In the aftermath, Lena strengthened the security protocols around her research and sought new, more secure partnerships to continue the trials. She also worked closely with legal and ethical bodies to ensure transparent oversight of her work, hoping to rebuild trust and maintain public support. The trials of Eridanen A resumed with renewed vigilance, but the stakes were now clear. Lena understood that her discovery was a double-edged sword, capable of great healing or significant exploitation. Each step forward was weighed with careful consideration of its long-term impacts, guided by a commitment to uphold the highest ethical standards. As the twin moons of Eridani V rose over the horizon, casting their light on the rugged landscape, Lena looked out from her office with a sense of cautious optimism. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but she was not alone. With the support of her team, the community, and allies like Milo and Annika, she was determined to navigate the complexities ahead, ensuring that her work would ultimately serve the greater good of humanity. In the months that followed the exposure of Helix Corp's espionage, the atmosphere at Clarion Base had transformed. Security was tighter, morale was higher, and Dr. Lena Hartfield felt a renewed sense of purpose. Her collaboration with Dr. Annika Patel had not only solidified but expanded, involving other researchers who were committed to exploring the frontiers of human biology with integrity. The base itself had become a beacon of advanced medical research and a testament to human resilience. The trials of Eridanen A continued, now under the watchful eyes of global observers and ethical watchdogs. Lena and her team were making groundbreaking progress in understanding not only pain management but also human adaptation to extraterrestrial environments. During this period, Lena organized a symposium at Clarion Base, inviting leading scientists, ethicists, and policymakers from across the solar system. The event was meant to foster open dialogue about the implications of biotechnological advancements in frontier conditions. As the symposium commenced, Lena took the stage to deliver her keynote address. She spoke about the journey of their research, the challenges they had faced, and the ethical considerations that had guided their decisions. Her speech was met with enthusiastic applause, but it was during the panel discussions that the real debates began. Dr. Annika Patel presented their latest findings on genetic adaptations, suggesting that humanity was on the cusp of a new evolutionary path, one accelerated by technological intervention. This sparked a heated debate among the panelists about the definition of human identity and the ethical limits of genetic engineering. "Are we playing God here?" questioned Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, a bioethicist from the Mars colony. "Or are we merely adapting as humans have always done, using the tools of our time?" Annika responded thoughtfully. "It's a valid concern, Hiroshi. However, evolution is not static, nor is it purely natural anymore. Our tools have evolved, and so have our environments. Ethical guidelines must evolve as well." The discussions were intense and sometimes contentious, reflecting the diverse viewpoints of the participants. However, a consensus emerged on the need for a new framework for bioethical governance, one that would be robust enough to handle the complexities of emerging technologies, while flexible enough to adapt to future discoveries. Meanwhile, outside the confines of the symposium, life on Eridani 5 continued. Lena often took walks through the base's biodomes, where the flora of Eridani 5 was cultivated alongside earth plants, a symbol of the intermingling of worlds. It was during one of these walks that she had an unexpected encounter with Jonas Hulk. Jonas, now fully recovered and one of the first recipients of Eridanin A treatment, had become something of a celebrity on the base. He joined Lena, and they walked together in silence for a few moments before he spoke. "Dr. Hartfield, I've been meaning to thank you," he said earnestly. "Not just for the treatment, but for fighting to make sure it's used right. It's given me a new lease on life, and I know I'm not the only one." Lena smiled, touched by his words. "Thank you, Jonas. It's the support from all of you that has kept us going. This journey isn't just about scientific discovery. It's about making sure those discoveries serve humanity in the best ways possible." As the symposium drew to a close, Lena felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. The discussions had opened up new avenues of thought and potential collaborations. The road ahead was still uncertain, but she was more confident than ever that they were on the right path. The challenges of pioneering new frontiers of science were daunting, but Lena and her team were not deterred. They were ready to face whatever lay ahead, armed with knowledge, guided by ethics, and supported by a community that believed in the power of science to do good. As Eridani 5's sun set, casting long shadows over the alien landscape, Lena felt a profound connection to every soul on the base. Together, they were not just surviving, they were thriving, pushing the boundaries of what it meant to be human in the vast uncharted territories of space. After the successful conclusion of the symposium, the momentum at Clarion Base did not wane. If anything, it surged. Dr. Lena Hartfield found herself at the helm of a burgeoning movement, one that called for a thoughtful integration of biotechnology into human evolution. The community at the base, bolstered by the ethical discussions and the transparent nature of the research, embraced their role as pioneers on this new frontier. However, the ripple effects of their work extended far beyond the confines of Eridani 5. News of the symposium and the progressive ideas it had sparked spread throughout the solar system, igniting debates and discussions on dozens of inhabited worlds. Lena and her team's research was now part of a larger narrative about the future of humanity in space. It was during this period of expansive influence that Lena received an invitation that would elevate the discourse to an even higher plane. The United Earth government, recognizing the potential for significant policy shifts in light of the Eridanin A research, invited her to speak at an interstellar council meeting scheduled to be held on Earth. It was a rare opportunity to influence policy at the highest levels, an acknowledgement of her work's importance not just as scientific endeavor, but as a cornerstone for new bioethical standards. Lena accepted the invitation, aware of the enormous responsibility it represented. Preparing for the council, she collaborated closely with Dr. Annika Patel and other key members of her team to formulate a presentation that would not only summarize their findings, but also outline a proposed framework for regulating bioenhancements in frontier environments. Upon arriving on Earth, Lena was struck by the stark contrasts between her home planet and Eridani 5. Here, the issues were different. The bustling cities and dense populations presented a myriad of challenges unrelated to the stark, open expanses of the frontier. Yet the underlying thread, the need to understand and manage human pain and enhancement, remained deeply relevant. The council meeting was a gathering of some of the most influential figures in politics, science, and ethics. Lena presented her research, emphasizing the transformative potential of Eridanin A, while candidly addressing the risks and ethical considerations. Her speech was met with a mixture of awe and concern, a reflection of the broader societal ambivalence towards genetic enhancements. During the discussions that followed, Lena navigated complex questions from the council members. Some expressed fears about the potential for a new form of inequality, the genetically enhanced versus the natural human, which could lead to divisions that were hard to bridge. Others were concerned about the militarization of such enhancements, a topic that had always lurked in the background of biotechnological advances. Lena acknowledged these concerns, suggesting robust international regulations and transparent, collaborative research environments as key to mitigating such risks. She proposed the establishment of an interstellar bioethics panel, an entity that would work across planetary governments to oversee the development and application of biotechnologies like Eridanin A. Her proposal was met with interest and cautious optimism. Many council members agreed that the onset of interstellar colonization and the unique challenges it presented required a rethinking of old ethical frameworks and the creation of new governance structures that were inclusive and adaptive. Returning to Eridani Fifth, Lena felt a profound sense of accomplishment mixed with the relentless pressure of the tasks ahead. She knew that her work had started a conversation that could shape the future trajectory of human civilization across the stars. The challenges were immense, but so were the opportunities to reduce suffering, to enhance human capabilities, and to ensure that as humanity stepped further into the cosmos, it did so with wisdom and compassion. Back at the base, under the light of distant stars and the familiar chill of an alien world, Lena continued her work, driven by a vision of a future where science and ethics walked hand in hand. The path forward was uncertain and fraught with challenges, but she was ready to lead, to debate, and to discover for the benefit of all humanity. Dr. Lena Hartfield stood on the observation deck of Clarion Base, gazing out at the rugged landscape of Eridani Fifth stretching into the horizon. The swirling mists and the distant hum of machinery were familiar companions, yet today they seemed to carry a weight of significance, a reflection perhaps of the journey she had undertaken and the future that lay ahead. The events of recent months had left an indelible mark on Lena's psyche. From the humble beginnings of her research into pain tolerance to the symposiums and interstellar councils, she had traversed a path filled with challenges, revelations, and ethical quandaries. Yet, with each step, she had remained steadfast in her commitment to advancing human knowledge while upholding the highest standards of ethics and compassion. As she contemplated the vista before her, Lena found herself reflecting on the broader implications of her work. The trials of Eridanin A, the debates on genetic enhancements, the proposals for interstellar bioethics governance, all were part of a larger narrative about the evolution of humanity in the cosmos. It was a narrative that transcended individual achievements, encompassing the collective aspirations and fears of an entire species reaching for the stars. In the midst of these reflections, Lena's thoughts turned to her team, the dedicated scientists, researchers, and support staff who had stood by her side through the trials and tribulations. Their camaraderie, their passion for discovery, and their unwavering commitment to the greater good had been the bedrock of their success. Together, they had pushed the boundaries of human knowledge, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of history. Yet even as Lena celebrated their achievements, she remained acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. The road to a future shaped by science and ethics was fraught with uncertainty, populated by myriad dangers and temptations. It was a future that demanded vigilance, resilience, and above all, humility. The recognition that for all their advances, humanity was but a small part of the vast tapestry of the cosmos. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the base, Lena felt a sense of peace settle over her. The journey she had embarked upon was far from over, but she faced the future with a newfound clarity and determination. Guided by the lessons of the past and the promise of tomorrow, she would continue to push the boundaries of human knowledge, forging a path towards a brighter, more enlightened future, for Eridani Fifth, for humanity, and for all who look to the stars with hope in their hearts. As the years passed on Eridani Fifth, Dr. Lena Hartfield's pioneering research continued to shape the trajectory of human exploration and understanding. The trials of Eridanin A evolved into a comprehensive program of biotechnological research, encompassing not only pain management but also genetic adaptations, environmental resilience, and ethical governance. Under Lena's guidance, Clarion Base became a hub of scientific innovation, attracting researchers and scholars from across the galaxy. The biodomes flourished with a rich tapestry of flora, both native to Eridani V and transplanted from Earth, serving as living laboratories for the study of biochemistry, botany, and ecology. Meanwhile, the interstellar bioethics framework proposed by Lena gained traction, culminating in the establishment of the Galactic Bioethics Council, a governing body tasked with overseeing the ethical development and application of biotechnologies across inhabited worlds. Lena served as a founding member, lending her expertise and wisdom to shape policies that balance scientific progress with moral imperatives. The impact of Lena's work extended far beyond the confines of Clarion Base. The treatments derived from Eridanin A found widespread use in medical facilities across the galaxy, alleviating suffering and improving the quality of life for countless individuals. The genetic insights gleaned from the research led to breakthroughs in personalized medicine, genetic therapies, and even environmental conservation efforts on Earth and beyond. Yet amidst the accolades and achievements, Lena remained grounded in her values, a steadfast advocate for the ethical use of science and technology, a voice for the marginalized and vulnerable, and a beacon of hope for a future where humanity and the cosmos were in harmonious balance. As she looked out over the bustling base, now a thriving center of scientific inquiry and cultural exchange, Lena felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey had been long and arduous, filled with triumphs and tribulations, but it had been worth every moment. For Lena Hartfield, the legacy of discovery was not just about the advancements made in laboratories or the policies enacted in boardrooms. It was about the lives touched, the minds inspired, and the futures transformed. It was a testament to the boundless potential of human ingenuity and the enduring spirit of exploration that propelled humanity ever onwards towards the stars. And as she stood there, amidst the hum of activity and the whispers of history, Lena knew that the greatest discoveries were yet to come, that the cosmos held secrets beyond imagining, waiting to be unlocked by intrepid souls like hers, guided by curiosity, fueled by passion, and bound by an unshakable commitment to the pursuit of truth. In the twilight of her career, Dr. Lena Hartfield found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought her to this moment, a journey marked by discovery, collaboration, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. As she stood on the precipice of retirement, she felt a sense of awe at the vast tapestry of experiences that had shaped her life and the lives of those around her. The base on Eridani V had grown and evolved over the years, a testament to humanity's resilience and adaptability in the face of the unknown. The research conducted there had not only pushed the boundaries of scientific understanding, but had also fostered a sense of unity and cooperation among disparate cultures and species. As Lena looked back on her contributions to the field of biotechnology, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in what she had accomplished. The trials of Eridanin A had paved the way for groundbreaking advancements in pain management and genetic therapies, revolutionizing medical practices across the galaxy. Yet, amidst the triumphs, Lena remained ever mindful of the ethical considerations that accompanied scientific progress. The lessons she had learned about the importance of transparency, accountability, and compassion had guided her every decision, ensuring that her work was not only groundbreaking, but also morally sound. As Lena prepared to pass the torch to the next generation of researchers, she felt a sense of hope for the future. The legacy of discovery she had helped to create would live on, inspiring countless others to explore the mysteries of the cosmos and strive for a better tomorrow. And as she bid farewell to Clarion Base and the world of scientific exploration, Lena carried with her the knowledge that the echoes of her discoveries would reverberate through the ages, shaping the destiny of humanity for generations to come.